What is this?
Divorce papers. Sign them.
He divorced his wife right after she delivered quadruplets. Before she could even touch her bobbies. The divorce papers landed hard on the hospital bed. One sharp corner scraped across her trembling fingers as she instinctively reached out. The sting barely registered. Sign it now. His voice was cold, final. I'm done with you, and don't you dare come near me again with those bobbies. Her entire body shook. Tears splashed onto the papers, blurring the ink as she whispered, barely audible. Please, Yimin, we can talk later. Please, I just gave birth. We can. He stepped back like she'd tried to touch him with something filthy. Disgust twisted his face. Beside him stood his mother. Madame Kang. Arms folded, chin lifted, smiling. Smiling like she had waited her entire life for this moment. You finally got what you deserved, Madame Kang said coolly. A barren waste of space. I'm glad my son finally listened to me. She tilted her head, eyes sharp and cruel. He's moving on with a woman of status. You'll survive. In that instant, something inside Nia Carter Kang shattered. Quietly, completely. Her heart didn't just break. It hardened. And in that break, something dangerous awakened. Something that would destroy them all. Besties, before we continue, let me ask you a question. Have you subscribed to our channel? If not, please do so to help this channel build a strong community and tell us where you are watching from in the comments section. It means more than you know. Now let's go back to where it all started. The bathroom floor was cold. Again. Nia sat on the tile, her back against the tub, knees pulled to her chest. The pregnancy test lay on the counter. Negative. Again. Her body refused to listen. Her fingers clenched into fists as silent tears slid down her cheeks. Still nothing. A voice came from the doorway. No surprise. Nia didn't need to look up to know who it was. Madame Kang. Yimin's mother. The woman had never knocked. Not once in the 5 years Nia had been married to her son. She had a key. And she used it like a weapon. No child, no future, Madame Kang continued. A woman who cannot give a man heirs is already dead weight. Please, not today, Nia whispered. But that was before the promotions. Before the late nights. Before Kang, Yimin started believing his own legend. Over the last year, he had changed. The ambitious man who once kissed her forehead before work, who listened to her nursing stories, who ate her food like it was sacred. That man vanished. In his place stood someone obsessed with power, image, and fear. He started criticizing her natural hair, said she should straighten it for company dinners. Said she needed to look more polished if she wanted to stand beside a man climbing Seoul's underworld real estate empire. He complained that her nursing scrubs were unflattering. Then there was the smell. It started 6 months ago. A lingering scent of Chanel, number 5 on his collars. Not hers. When she asked, he laughed. You're imagining things, he said. You're insecure lately, it's unattractive. But it wasn't imagination. It was Choi Soo-yeon. She was everything Nia wasn't in his eyes. The daughter of a powerful venture, capitalist with deep ties to Korea's shadow economy. Blonde, 26, raised in penthouses and private clubs. She moved through the world with the careless confidence of someone who had never been told no. She walked into Yimin's firm to purchase a luxury tower in Gangnam, and walked out owning Yimin. When Nia finally became pregnant, it felt like a miracle. The doctor smiled. Not 1, he said, 4. Quadruplets. 3 girls. 1 boy. Nia cried. She thought this would save them. She thought Yimin would look at the ultrasound, see the tiny heartbeats, and remember who they used to be. Instead, his face went pale. How are we supposed to maintain our lifestyle with 4 kids? He asked. In that moment, he had already left. He was just waiting for the delivery. The hospital corridor gleamed under harsh fluorescent lights. Cold, sterile. Kang Yeeman stood frozen outside the delivery room. 32 years old, but his face looked 10 years older. Inside, Nia had just delivered 4 healthy bobbies after 18 hours of labor. Twice, her heart rate had dropped so low the nurses panicked. Yeeman never went inside. He didn't hold her hand, didn't ask if she was alive. Instead, his phone buzzed. Soo-yeon. Is it done? I'm waiting at the signal. Don't make me wait, you promised. She was in a suite that cost more per night than most people made in a month. She had spent weeks whispering in his ear that men like him deserved women who understood ambition. Women from the right families. Women who could open doors. Not women who fixed broken bones for a living. A nurse stepped out, smiling. Congratulations, Mr. Kang. 4 perfect bobbies. Your wife is asking for you. He nodded. Mechanically. He walked into the room. Not as a father, but as an executioner. Nia lay propped against white pillows, skin glistening with sweat, exhaustion etched into every breath. 4 tiny bundles rested in clear bassinets around her. She looked up, eyes shining. Yeeman, she whispered, reaching for him. Come see them, they're perfect. He stayed by the door. Reached into his jacket. Didn't pull out a gift. He pulled out papers. We need to talk, he said. I can't do this anymore. This marriage, this life, it's not what I want. The monitor beside her bed beeped faster. I'm saying it's over. I want a divorce. He tossed the papers onto the bed. They landed beside their newborn son. I've met someone else, someone compatible with where I'm going. You're doing this now, Nia whispered. I just gave birth to 4 children. Who is she? It doesn't matter, he lied. Just sign, I'll pay support, I'm leaving. Nia stared at him. Really looked. And finally saw the stranger. Get out, she said, her voice turning to ice. Get out, and when my lawyer calls you, you'll learn exactly how expensive this decision is. He walked away. Relieved. Believing he had chosen freedom. He had no idea he was walking off a cliff. 3 months passed. For Nia Carter Kang, time dissolved into exhaustion. Days blurred into nights filled with feeding schedules, crying fits, and healing pain that never fully left her body. Her C-section scar burned every time she stood too long, but standing was not optional. 4 bobbies did not wait. Bills did not wait. Sleep did not come. She learned how to balance 2 bottles in one hand while rocking a bassinet with her foot. She memorized which baby cried from hunger, which from gas, which from needing to be held. She went back to work before her body was ready. 12-hour shifts. Hospital lights that felt just as cold as the day she was abandoned in one. Her nurse's salary barely covered diapers and formula. Every dollar was calculated. Every meal was stretched. But she never missed a feeding. Never missed a doctor's appointment. Never missed a moment where her children needed her. She cried alone, quietly, in the shower. And then she got up. Every time. For Kang Yeeman, the same 3 months were filled with illusion. The penthouse Soo-yeon insisted they rent consumed nearly half his monthly income. Glass walls, imported Italian furniture, a skyline view that looked impressive but felt hollow. Invoices stacked on the marble counter like silent accusations. Babe, Soo-yeon said one afternoon, emerging from the bedroom dressed in silk. We need to talk about a summer place. Yeeman rubbed his temples. A summer place. The Hamptons, she replied casually. Ashley's husband just bought her one. It's embarrassing that we're still renting. The Hamptons house is $3 million, he snapped. I'm paying child support for 4 kids. The partnership bonus hasn't cleared. She looked at him like he'd spoken a foreign language. Then make more money. Her voice hardened. A man like you shouldn't be penny pinching. Richard would have bought it already. Richard. The billionaire she was always comparing him to. Maybe I should have stayed with him, she added lightly. At least he understood what it takes to keep a woman like me. I have options, Yeeman. Don't forget that. Silence swallowed the penthouse. He missed the smell of Nia's cooking, missed the way she rubbed his shoulders without asking for anything in return, missed laughter that wasn't transactional. His phone buzzed. An email. Subject, urgent Nia Carter Kang legal update. Annoyed, he opened it. Probably another demand. Then he read the first line. And read it again. His blood drained so fast his knees buckled. Yimin, you need to sit down. Nia's legal team has contacted us. Her maternal uncle, Lee Hyun-woo, the one she rarely spoke about, passed away last month. He left his entire estate to her. Yimin scrolled, hands shaking. Preliminary valuation, approximately $500 billion USD. Yes, billion. Nia Carter Kang was now one of the wealthiest women on the planet. His phone slipped from his hand and shattered against the marble floor. 500 billion, he whispered. Soo-yeon looked up from her phone. What is it? Did your card get declined again? He looked at her. Really looked. The fake tan. The hollow eyes. The endless appetite for more. Nia inherited money, he said. Her ears perked up. How much? Billions. The room went silent. Oh, she smiled slowly, so we can stop paying child support. No, he said hoarsely. You don't understand, she owns everything. He tried to call. Blocked. He tried to show up at her apartment. Security turned him away. 2 days later, he received a summons. Not to court. To the headquarters of Kang and Han Development. His firm. He straightened his suit. She wouldn't dare humiliate him publicly. Surely she wouldn't keep the children from their father. The boardroom doors opened. The senior partners were not seated at the head of the table. Nia was. She wore a tailored white suit. Her natural hair was styled in intricate braids, adorned with subtle gold cuffs. She didn't look tired. She didn't look broken. She looked untouchable. Beside her sat a team of lawyers, cold-eyed precise. In the corner, holding one of the bobbies, was Gloria, the nurse from the hospital, now clearly a private nanny. You look incredible, Yimin said weakly. I'm so happy for you, for us. Sit down, Nia said calmly. The weight of her voice forced him into the chair. We're here to discuss the terms of the divorce. It's already finalized, he stammered. My lawyers reviewed the evidence, she interrupted. Your affair began 6 months into my pregnancy. In this state, that qualifies as marital fraud. She slid a folder across the table. You get nothing, no alimony. Full custody goes to me due to abandonment and emotional distress. He swallowed. I'm their father. You're allowed supervised visits, she said, once a month. His face cracked. Once a month. I have resources, she smiled slightly. Not kindly. Which brings us to the second agenda item. She stood, walked slowly around the table. You see, she said, my uncle invested heavily in American and Korean commercial real estate. She stopped behind him. I bought this company. The room spun. Mr. Han stared at the floor. I'm the majority shareholder now, Nia continued, and I've decided to restructure. She leaned down, whispered in his ear, the same way Soo-yeon had whispered poison into his life. There's a morality clause in your contract. She straightened. Abandoning a wife and quadruplets is terrible for public image. Security, she said softly. Escort Mr. Kang out. Yimin stood on the street minutes later, holding a cardboard box, a stapler, a photo of himself before everything collapsed. His phone rang. Soo-yeon. The card was declined at Saks, she snapped. Fix it now or don't come back. He laughed. A broken sound. She owns everything, he said quietly. What? You're done, he continued. I was done the moment I left the hospital. The line went dead. Inside the boardroom, Nia watched him disappear into the crowd. She felt no sadness, only peace. She turned back to her bobbies. Gloria smiled. "You did good, Miss Carter." Nia smiled. Life has a funny way of returning the energy you put out. The city swallowed Kang Yi-min whole. People rushed past him on the Seoul sidewalk, eyes glued to phones, briefcases swinging, lives continuing, indifferent to the man who once believed the world would bend for him. He had chased power. He had chased image. He had chased a woman who only loved what he could provide. And now he had nothing. No family. No status. No place to go. He stood there longer than he meant to, clutching the cardboard box like it was the last proof he existed. A ghost haunting the ruins of his own ambition. Inside the building, high above the street, Nia Carter Kang stood by the window. She watched him shrink into the crowd. She didn't feel triumph. She didn't feel rage. She felt closure. For the first time since the bathroom floor. Since the hospital bed. Since the sound of divorce papers scraping her skin. She had reclaimed herself. She turned away from the glass and walked toward her children. 4 tiny lives who knew nothing of betrayal. Nothing of greed. Only warmth. Only safety. She lifted her son first, holding him against her chest. "You're safe," she whispered. "Mama's here." The nanny adjusted one of the bassinets. "Ms. Carter," Gloria said gently. "The lawyers confirmed. Everything's finalized." Nia nodded. "Thank you." Gloria hesitated. "Do you feel anything about him?" Nia thought for a moment. "I feel grateful," she said honestly, "that he showed me who he was before I spent my entire life shrinking myself to fit his shadow." She looked down at her daughters. "And I feel determined that my children will never confuse love with control." Across the city, Soo-yeon stood in front of a mirror, staring at herself like she was calculating a loss. The penthouse was silent. Too silent. Her phone buzzed. A message from Richard. "Heard things didn't work out. Busy now, take care." She scoffed. Blocked. She looked around at the expensive furniture she couldn't afford alone. At the life that required someone else's wallet to exist. And for the first time, the reflection staring back at her didn't look powerful. It looked afraid. Yi-min slept on a friend's couch that night. The kind of friend who let you stay, but didn't ask questions because he didn't want answers. The ceiling fan rattled. He stared into the dark. Every sound reminded him of what he lost. 4 newborns he never held. A woman who loved him before he was worth anything. A home that smelled like warmth instead of money. He remembered the way Nia looked at him the night she told him she was pregnant. Hopeful. Trusting. Believing. His chest tightened. Too late. Weeks passed. Then months. News articles circulated quietly through business circles. Mysterious heiress takes control of major real estate empire. Single mother of quadruplets becomes industry powerhouse. Photos of Nia surfaced. Poised. Confident. Unbothered. She didn't give interviews. Didn't explain herself. Her silence spoke louder than any statement ever could. She funded hospitals. Expanded maternity wards. Created scholarships for nurses. Programs for single mothers escaping toxic marriages. Every investment carried intention. Every move carried memory. She didn't destroy recklessly. She built deliberately. One afternoon, during a supervised visit, Yi-min finally held one of the bobbies. Awkward. Careful. The child blinked up at him, curious, unafraid. Something cracked inside his chest. "This is your daughter," the supervisor said. He nodded. Unable to speak. Nia watched from across the room. She felt no urge to interfere. No need to punish further. Life had already delivered the verdict. Years later, someone would ask Nia if she ever regretted not helping him. She answered calmly. I didn't crush him. I simply stopped carrying him. She paused. Men who confuse love with entitlement always believe accountability feels like cruelty. She stood one evening on her balcony, city lights glittering below, 4 children laughing behind her. She had not become powerful to seek revenge. She had become powerful to protect peace. She had learned the truth the hard way. The grass isn't greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it. Yimin had let his garden die. And now he lived in the desert he created. So let me ask you, did Kang Yimin deserve total ruin? Or was it too harsh? And if you were in Nia's shoes, with power, wealth, and choice, would you have helped him? Or let karma finish the job? Tell us in the comments. And remember, life has a funny way of returning the energy you put out. Be careful who you step on today. They might be the ones signing your paycheck tomorrow. Thanks for watching. If you believe in karma, love, and accountability, like, subscribe, and share.